How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to the Hall of Film. And today is a very special episode of probably many to come. As a lot of you will know, today the Oscar nominations were announced, and I thought instead of me just rambling to myself, I would get two guests, and one you have already seen on the channel plenty of times and plenty more to come. It is royalty. It is the question queen. It is Heather Stewart. And
Hello.
then also joining is also another part of Team Rev Almanac. Sorry, Andrew, I am stealing your stuff. It is Amanda from Oscar Upsets over on Instagram.
Hello.
Now, normally I feel like when people talk about the Oscars, there's usually a big rant or a big talking point. But I think the biggest surprise of this Oscar nominations were that they almost pretty much got it spot on, which I think this is as close to perfect they've got in a long, long time. It certainly feels. Obviously, the winners, they could completely unravel that, and then we're all very, very sad. But I mean, Heather, what was your overall impression and takeaway from the nominees?
It was all going so well. Yeah, I always kind of sit there watching the results, and there was one major scream of delight from me, and there was a lot of yes, woo, woohoo, where I was more kind of mixture of relief that they hadn't really mucked it up. I was nervous for certain favorites right up until they said those names, just because of past mistakes. And I had one huge groan, and I have been told by somebody who was also in my house at the same time that actually I did have a second groan. I thought I only had one, but apparently I was vocal about another one as
There,
well.
there was two
But
groans for, I
it was
think,
two
a lot of
groans.
people. Yeah.
Yes. And there was a couple of what? And then there was a few, hang on, wait, something's happened because feels unexpected, but what's missed?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of sitting there scrambling like you always are to figure out, especially in the below the line categories. Hang on, nobody mentioned this. What has been left out, and what's the surprise? Yeah, that's my overall thing. Yes, they did a very good job. I'm very happy. I can't say too much about the shorts. I mean, I know that Amanda, you've seen loads of shorts, so you can talk more about that. But documentary also, again, not seen too much. I've only seen one of the documentaries, and that one got in, which was good. So yeah, I'm all pretty good. A couple of inspired
Yes.
nominations, I'd say.
Yeah.
If we look at makeup, I can think of one particular one. And then, yeah, just a couple of not
How
even
it,
unexpected, but just,
yeah.
oh, they really did that.
How
So,
it started, it was like, right, hang on, have they learnt the lesson, first of all, and number two, also watched films and now understand what is good quality, what is bad quality? And then at the end, they had to do what the Academy does and throw two spanners in the works where you go, guys, you were so close to nailing it, but you couldn't resist.
yeah. I mean, they did only watch about 10 films, but no, there was quite a large
Yeah.
number nominated, to be fair.
The one thing
But
I
there
will
was a
say, though,
lot with massive numbers.
the
Yeah.
two that we're groaning about, which we'll get onto soon, they're not winning anyway, so we're not losing sleep over. Yeah.
Do not say
Just
that.
chinked it right now.
Yeah, you've jinxed it.
I mean, I'm like, I will be shocked. I think we will all be shocked if those two win. But yeah. Amanda, how about you? What was your overall takeaway?
Yeah, I think I had a really good time with it. I mean, it was 7:30 in the morning my time, and so I just like gotten up, gotten ready, and I'm already like screaming at my television. And there's thankfully no one home, or else I would be obnoxious. But
At least
loving,
it wasn't 5:30 in California.
yeah, that I would wake up for it, but I would be very upset. But a lot of very exciting things, especially in the acting categories, minus a couple of them. But Very excited for Sinners. I'm not like the people on the internet that are freaking out about Sinners, but I'm also not the people on the internet that are claiming and being obnoxious about it being overrated. I just love it for what it is. So excited for it.
I don't think there's anything with Sinners where I mean, yes, there's a couple of surprises. But there was nothing there that wasn't talked about. There was nothing there where you were like, no, everybody had that. And the one big surprise was just not predicted, but it's not as if he's not been on long lists or short lists or whatever. And it's not as if he's not a beloved person. So we're all talking about supporting actor here for Orlando.
That was one person I was hoping deep in my heart, but I was like, there's no way they're going to do it. And if they do, it's probably going to be Miles, which would also be deserving. But no, that's what was, I think, my big takeaway, where it felt like us as the film community were the voting body, because there were picks that I would not have thought the Academy would make. Like, I was on a podcast where we were predicting what the picks would be, and I think two of us had at least probably 5 nominations for Wicked, and of course it got none, which was, I mean, good, because I didn't want to watch it anyway if I didn't need to. But to go from 10 nominations last year to nothing, not even makeup, was like, whoa.
I think with Wicked, it was more the kind of, it suffered what second films often do. We saw it with Dune, we've seen it with Avatar, Way of Water, and of course again with this Avatar, is that, we've done that, we've awarded them, and there's not that much different. But I would argue, not to kind of, stand up for Wicked for good, which I have not seen, and now I don't have to. I think they were at least doing something different with the makeup this year. So costumes, you can say, okay, very similar. Production design, the sets were all very similar. They even had the 2 new songs just to try and get into that category. Didn't work. Okay, everybody said they were a bit crap anyway. Haven't heard them, no idea. But I do feel makeup is the big miss, because they were doing new things with the Scarecrow and with the Tin Man, but from what I've heard is that their bake-off presentation, so when they kind of, put a little snippet together to show the voters, that they didn't do as good a job in highlighting specific, like one battle, I don't know, did it even get in, but the point is they just focused purely on Sean Penn, because that was the main thing. Yes, everybody else had hair going on and hair being done and stuff, but that was their main set piece, if you like. And Marty Supreme with the pimples, so effective that Gwyneth Paltrow wanted to offer Timothée Chalamet skincare routine. Wonderful, I love it. It's so Gwyneth. So and they did it like wider, as opposed to just focusing focusing purely on the work that they'd done on the Scarecrow, Tin Man, whatever.
Well, looking here now at the best makeup and hairstyling,
well, that's a great surprise. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the great surprise being the Ugly Stepsister. You also had the Smashing Machine, which I've seen that, and of all the things you can praise that film for, that would probably be the one. You've also got in there as well Sinners, Frankenstein, which I think everyone expected, and a Japanese film called Kokoru, I believe, is my best. Well, that's my best shout at that. But that was the shock. That was the shock for me, because I didn't see that. But yeah, I expected Wicked.
Yes. People were kind of talking about the Japanese film because it had been recently kind of pushed and mentioned a bit by like Hollywood royalty. I think Tom Cruise had been at had been talking about it. So it was being seen. So, and the thing is, the makeup they don't care. The makeup and hair, they don't care about everything else. They just are focused on their craft. And if that's why we get, films that often people have never heard of. And I mean, like Golda, did anybody ever see that like a couple of years ago? Yeah. they just don't care. And I think that's what people kind of like forget, that in the nominations, it is the individual, people in that brand, in that voting for the nominations, and then it opens up to the whole academy. So the fact that Sinners is showing up everywhere, or One Battle as well, it just shows that it's not like everybody's like down voting and say, oh right, yes, we're going to tick them off everywhere. That will happen when it comes to awards, to the actual winning, if it does happen. But this is each branch of the academy individually deciding, okay, that was amongst the best 5. So the Ugly Stepsister is cool. I mean, I haven't seen it. Part 2, ooh, gruesome. But
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good stuff about it as well.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be one of
Amanda,
those
what?
like this.
Amanda, what was your biggest surprise? It could be a miss, it could be a nomination, it could be both, or
One we kind of already talked about was Wicked. I did see Wicked, and I thought it was fine. I definitely preferred the first one. I thought it losing both of its songs was interesting to me. Obviously, they were not very good, but they were really pushing them, and I think they were talked about heavily. So we have Diane Warren yet again. She's got her nomination, and we have no Wicked. The other one, not really a big surprise to me because it was on my radar, but the big one being F1, because there were like a handful leading up that had like 1 or 2 big like other nominations elsewhere that I was looking at, and F1 was not. It was maybe like 13th on my list. I thought we were getting something else in that 10th spot, so that was interesting. Also, those coming alphabetically for Best Picture, I was like so excited when it started, and then it hit F1, and I was like, turn the whole thing off. I think I just blacked out the rest of it. I have no idea.
It's funny. I was pretty much excited from the get-go, so I didn't even clock it was like in alphabetical order. I was just like, every time I was like, hang on, is Sinners not making this category? Then it was last. I was like, oh, thank God. So I was just having a heart attack every single time. I was like,
because I had to check. I had to check for my blood pressure. I had to check how they do director, because I didn't know whether they do it like actor and actress, where they do the surname.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you need to tell me this. I need to know this, because otherwise I'm going to be freaking out, because
when
they said Coogler.
When they said a Safdie brother and Coogler hadn't been mentioned yet, I was like, there is no conceivable way.
Yeah, but they had Chloe Zhao right at the top, so you know, like I think it would have been obvious then because Z. But so I was just like calming myself like beforehand, going like, wait, because the director was the one I was really concerned about, because you just know what the directors can be like. They don't care. They do not care, and Nolan has been snubbed, Villeneuve has been snubbed, and I don't mean Villeneuve specifically for Dune. I mean also for like other things, you know.
Pretty much every bit of his good work he's been snubbed, it feels like.
Yeah. And it's just so therefore I just don't trust them, and I certainly do not trust them not to be not racist, not to be not sexist, and everything. They just don't care, so, and to be snobby towards certain things. So I think actually, although I don't know if I had him in there, I was kind of surprised that they did go for Safdie, because he kind of still feels a little bit like new kiddish on the block, a little bit, and they're a bit quirky. But on the other hand, 2 years ago they awarded Daniels, so
true. I think for me, my biggest shock, other than F1 and Safdie, was Delroy Lindo, because my man. That is the first time watching Oscar nominations I've genuinely jumped up and screamed with pure joy, because the supporting categories each year are often sometimes the most stacked and also the most weird in what they actually nominate. The one I was most nervous for was Best Supporting Actress, because I know they could have gone a whole bunch of different ways with that, and they nailed it. I was like, hang on, I'm not getting my hopes up yet. And then Best Supporting Actor, and I mean, may as well read them off. But Best Supporting Actor nominations: Benicio del Toro. I love him in that. personally, I wouldn't have included him because I don't think he's in that film enough, even though he does make an impact. That's
It's
just
a
me.
supporting role. We're just forgetting from the last years that leading
They can be
roles
small.
have been getting in supporting.
My favourite Benicio role this year was for the Phoenician Scheme. I thought he was great in that.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I did not get. I got like 5 minutes into it.
Yeah, it's Wes Anderson. I don't vibe often.
Fair enough. Jacob Elordi got it, which I think was expected. Yeah, and deserved.
Yeah.
Then Delroy Lindo, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've said it before. Delroy and Miles Caton in Sinners are the heart and soul of that film. Like they might not be the main ones. They are the heart and soul and driving force of that film, especially Delroy. He's just a vibe from his first appearance till the last time we see him. Sean Penn, again, was expected, and Stellan Skarsgård was expected, but I was still nervous. And Stellan Skarsgård's the first person from an international film to be nominated for Best Supporting Actor ever.
Insane.
Which is
wild.
We're 98 Academy Awards in, and it's only took till now for that to happen.
It's a statistic is just so hard to believe because you think, but there's been so many good international performances. But okay,
yeah,
I guess not supporting.
Yeah.
Because
there's been plenty of
something
leads,
that counts as an international.
Yeah,
or something that doesn't count as an international role, so an international film, because there's been plenty of what's the word I'm thinking of? Not English language, like first language.
Yeah.
Actors nominated, but I guess because it is mainly in another language. Yeah, he's got like a lot of the English parts as well with Al Fanning, but yeah, I thought the sentimental value reaction video was so cute because they were all like in a room together, just with Tria and Skarsgård dialed in separately, and he was celebrating so hard for everybody.
It meant a lot to him.
Yes, but then when it was his nomination, he was like, just like that, like with his head down, and it was like, oh, what's he doing? Is he too emotional, or is he just like there? And they were all like running to the camera and celebrating for him, and like the big group, and he was just.
So cute.
And then they went. He went wild for everybody else, so he was into it. It was just maybe it was just the emotion of his nomination. Yeah.
I think another thing that shocked people was it's a film I've not seen yet, but No Other Choice not getting in Best International Feature, especially over Sirat. I've not seen Sirat, but I've got a friend who's Spanish who very much did not like that film. So it feels kind of like one of those where it's made it and everyone's gone, huh?
Okay, so the European Film Awards were last weekend, and that, yes, it's just the European body, and yes, they're just voting for European films and creatives. So you had some really random nominations for Die My Love just because their cinematographer is, from mainland Europe. So, but and obviously Begonia was there because Yorgos Lanthimos. Sentimental Value and Sirat, between the two of them, basically won 90% of the awards. Sentimental Value got all the above the line. They got actor. They don't do supporting and lead, by the way. So shout out Tom Duncan from Greatest Movie of All Time. He says this should be what every award show should do. They shouldn't differentiate, and then we wouldn't have the category fraud issue. So they have they have just any actor, any actress, and so that went to Renate and Stellan, and they won director, they won picture, they won a score, I think something like that as well, randomly. And then Surat took like cinematography, it took editing, it took sound,
it took
production
kind of
design,
the scraps.
It did. There was one for Sound of Falling. I can't remember which one off the top of my head. It wasn't cinematography, which it should have been, but never mind. But no, costumes, that makes sense. Yes, because they had to cover like about 300, no, maybe 150, 200 years of costume design. So it was good work. Yeah, so from that point on Saturday, I was like, Stewart is getting into the international lineup, and it'll probably get into other places, and it did. It got into sound, which is actually it deserved. I mean, the sound is really good. I
that's the
also didn't
one I
really
could
vibe
have
with it,
seen.
but yeah,
Yeah.
it's the sound is it's integral to the whole thing, and it's certainly particular scenes which are extremely visceral, and the sound plays such a massive role. So you hear the sound before you realize what's happened in various places. I'm going to spoil it for you. I mean, it's fine. The score didn't get in, which I think some people were thinking it might, because it's got a real techno score, and I'm like, come on, they didn't even put Challengers in last year. It's not going to
Yeah,
happen.
yeah,
But it is. I preferred No Other Choice. I saw No Other Choice the other day, a couple of days ago. But I'm not surprised by Sirat getting in at all.
yeah.
It was just, it was on the rise.
Yeah. Amanda, what was your takeaway from supporting actress?
I was thinking about this morning afterwards that last year I remember Elle Fanning's performance in A Complete Unknown was my favorite of the two, and she did not get that nomination. And for sentimental value, she's not even memorable to me really in this movie. So that was a big shock. And alphabetically, she was first. So that kind of threw off the whole category for me. So I'm not surprised, because I think she deserves it for something in her career. But this was an interesting choice for her to take that, what I assume would be the last spot in the category.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of those for me. I was like, dream world if I'm choosing my personal favourites. I loved her in that film, the bit she is in, but I was like, they're probably not going to vote her, especially if they didn't for like a complete unknown, like you said. But as soon as it was the first name popped up, I went, oh, because then
Was
that led
missing.
me, I was like, oh, is Ariana not getting it? When that was pretty much, I know on like people predicting that was like a lock. It was like, who's going to be the fifth one sneaking in? It could be a couple, but I certainly didn't expect it. 'Cause obviously, the best actress in a supporting role was Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value, Inga Ibsdottir Lilias for Sentimental Value, Amy Madigan for Weapons, Rumi Masaku for Sinners, and Tiana Taylor for One Battle After Another. Heather, how about you? What was your takeaway when you saw those read out?
Yeah, I mean, it just started, and Elle was straight up there. And I was like, wait a minute, hang on, what are we doing? My
Yeah.
first thought, was because I've just been, so I've said this before, that Inga is my favorite performance in any category this year. So my first concern was, oh my God, they've done what people thought. Let's go back five months when people were first starting to see Sentimental Value and talk about its awards prospects. A lot of people said at the time, nobody knows who Inga is. She's not a name. It's a very subdued performance. It is the heart of the film, but it's maybe just not what they're going to go for. Elle Fanning, as you said, Amanda, didn't get in last year. I agree with you. She was my preferred performance in A Complete Unknown as well. And she's a name. And she's performing in English and all these things. And so at the very beginning, it was like, well, most people thought Inga was possibly the better performance, but Elle would be the one that they might get in because of the name recognition, and people thought she could have had a chance last year, etc., etc. And I thought, oh my God, they might actually have done it, because I saw Elle and I'm like, wait. And I know it's alphabetical, but still there was that split second. But luckily, the second name up was Inga. So I was like,
you didn't have to stress long.
But then I was stressing about who have they missed, and my brain did not
God,
go to Ariana Grande. I was like, wait, who's missed? Because Elle to me was very much outside chance of getting into that elusive fifth spot. So I was like, and then Amy Madigan, I was like, okay, fine, yeah, that was obvious. And then I didn't even have time really to celebrate Wunmi, which was, she also missed in a few places. So a lot of people were concerned that she might not get in. Again, another example of somebody who is a heart of their film and is so critical. But again, maybe not so well known and etc. But obviously they were going big for sentimental value. They were going very, very big for Sinners. I was not so concerned about Wunmi, strangely enough. I'm going in. I was
Funny enough,
fairly
I
confident
wasn't.
she would get
I
in,
was
and
worried
then
about
Tiana,
Inga.
who we knew was getting in. So
Inga
yeah.
was my worry in that category, where I was like, because I'd saw like some predictions, and obviously at the end of the day they don't mean anything. But I know on like a lot of Oscar power ranking things, Inga was like number 5. Some places she was even as low as 7, which I was like, that is crazy. If that's
No, they did.
like,
They did it
yeah,
right. They did it right.
yeah,
She'd won so much going in. She'd really hit everywhere, and I just think there would seem to be just so much love for that film anyway. I was very unsure anyway with my own personal predictions. I had those 4 in, and the 5th slot was, well, is it going to be Ariana? Is it going to be Elle? Personally, I was kind of hoping that they'd gone all suddenly watched Secret Agent in the last week since or week or two since the Globes, and that they were all have fallen in love with Tanya Maria, who is she's glorious in it. But yeah, didn't quite go that far. The love for the Secret Agent, although it got into
it did
casting,
well. Yeah,
which was
it did well.
good. And obviously picture. So yeah, that was my little kind of no guts, no glory. If they really all watch Secret Agent and they really love that film, that she might sneak in there at the last minute. The Marty Supreme lady's missing, of course. That was also kind of talked about. Yeah, it was just stacked, this category. It always is. I mean, no, it's not always.
It
Hang on,
felt
wait.
it felt very
felt
stacked this year. Yeah.
Mm,
That's why
yeah.
I was like, don't wait, like, sorry to be harsh, but I was like, don't waste an Ariana Grande nomination when there's so many women that really deserve the love and praise for what they've done. But yeah, the one thing that I was really happy with as well, the fact that in original screenplay, Blue Moon got some love as well, because I really, how I described that film to Heather was like Capote, where it was like not necessarily the greatest film. It's not going to win like Best Picture, but obviously in Capote you had an incredible performance from Philip Seymour Hoffman. And I saw the parallels of, nobody's going to be talking really about the film. They're just going, did you remember that Ethan Hawke performance? Where it was like, whoa. And I mean, Ethan Hawke's just consistently good, and I believe this is his 5th nomination as well. Which 5 and no wins. Will he win? Probably not again. But the best actor will go into that. But obviously your nominees for that was Chalamet, which was expected, of course, Leo, which was also expected, Ethan Hawke, which I feel was expected, but also you never know with the Academy, as we've said. Michael B. Jordan should have been expected, but was a bit of a nervous going into it for me.
Always.
And yeah, and then Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent as well, which I
Absolutely
feel
deserved as well.
yeah, I was going to say, I felt, especially after the Globes, when everybody was like, okay, that's definitely getting in. And Amanda, start with you. What was your takeaway for lead actor, if any?
I really didn't have anything, because I don't even think in my own list I had anything but those 5. I haven't seen Blue Moon yet, but I've heard so much about Ethan Hawke's performance that I knew he was
good.
Yeah,
So
I'm excited to see it. And the other 4 I have seen. So I loved them all. So I don't even know who else would have gotten in there.
It was a rare thing. Yeah.
Yes. Also exceptional. Now I'm sad. But,
Sorry. Yeah.
You got to have 5.
It's a really tough one. It's a tough one because there's 6. I mean, I haven't seen Marty Supreme, but I'm just going to assume Timothy is.
It's ridiculous. It's great.
Yeah, and I know you're not a Timothy fan normally, so I'll trust you on this one. But yeah, there's 6. There's just 6 there. Yeah. And it's a shame that Oscars is the 5, because everywhere else is the 6. Right?
Yeah.
So
Begonia got a lot more than I anticipated. So
that was another takeaway for me. Begonia got a lot of love. Which, I mean, I'm happy because I really enjoyed the film. I think it's a really good film. I mean, speaking of not being the Timmy fan, I'm I'm fine with him. Like, I genuinely, he's fine. The fact he had 2 nominations already for 2 films that I don't think he should have been nominated for as well didn't help in the thing. But obviously, I finished Mighty Supreme, and I was like, okay, if he wins for this, I'm not going to moan. Whereas I would have if it was for the Bob Dylan biopic. But
yeah.
a stat that I saw, which is kind of mind-blowing, and I want to see your guys' reaction. Timothy Chalamet is the youngest actor to ever have 3 Oscar nominations since Marlon Brando in 1954. So the Academy, for whatever reason, are doing the thing that they do at random points. They're strapping the rocket to him, and they are going, "You're our Meryl Streep. You're getting in regardless what you do." That's how it feels like at the minute. Also, to be tied with anything at 30 with Marlon Brando is kind of crazy because he's good. He's not Marlon Brando.
He's very different to Marlon Brando.
Very different.
I just think he's like Leo, who is now, I think, tied. No,
He's
wait a
tied.
minute. No, wait, he's tied for the most number of films that have been nominated for Best Picture. That's it.
Yes.
But he's now got his 7th nomination or something like that, I think. He's very good at selecting the right films that are going to get the right attention, or where he is going to be able to be the star of
Yeah.
that. Good at carrying the film, that no matter what you think of the film, so let's go to the Bob Dylan biopic, he was still fine in it. He was still good. I did not enjoy that very much. I didn't connect with it, and it was just such a I'm so pleased he didn't win, because that would have been such a shame for him and for any potential legacy that he might have. See Leo with The Revenant. But I mean, there's been other places where he's also been good and hasn't, got in. Like, a lot of people thought he should have got in for was it Beautiful Boy?
Yes.
A few years ago.
Yeah. I think that's the one that even people who don't like him necessarily were like, okay, I could live with that, but the other ones, it's like, yeah, exactly, yeah. I also think
I think he's just good at selecting his films. I think that's the key, and yeah, he's good at marketing himself.
If
to be honest,
this is the thing,
carried that box office,
this
and
is
he
the thing.
cares, and he's out there. So
this is the thing I was thinking. If he walks away with the best actor statue after the marketing, I know obviously for like it's funny because I almost think Leo's done kind of anti-campaigning. Like, he's not campaigned at all. Chase Infinity's TikTok has been the wonder of that, kind of making Leo
work.
Yeah, it didn't work for her, it did for Leo. But it almost, for what I worry about, not so much with older actors who kind of just accept what's going to happen and they're not going to market it outside more than they have to on the press days. For younger people who will get nominated for Best Actor and Best Actress and blah, 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 what I am worried about is they will go full Chalamet in marketing, and it's just going to be a thing now that you've got to appear in rap videos, you've got to hire blimps to go over Tyler the Creator concerts, and all of this insane. You've got to do a sketch workshop on a team meeting and stuff like this. I just worried that this is now what marketing is going to become.
But that was more to get the film out there, and then he's gone like a full 180, and he's now gone very, when he was doing his acceptance speeches for the Globes and the CCA, he was very humble, very, thank you and I love you and blah 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 blah, and yay, shout out Kylie and all this kind of stuff, but very, very humble, and not jumping on stage with an orange suit and shouting about how he's the greatest. So he's really gone 180, and in fact, almost surprisingly humble and subdued. So, if that works for him, fine, because he's got the film out there and making the most money like of any A24 film. So it's worked. He's got the fan base. I think we're just going to have to accept that. Yeah, he can open a film, even if it is a Safdie brothers film about table tennis. I know it's not about table tennis. I haven't seen it. I know it's not really about table tennis. I get it. I understand. But still, that's the big marketing, is this blooming ping pong ball people walking about like stormtroopers with orange table tennis balls on their heads. So
I
Yeah.
also think he's got a lot of fans inside the academy, and we're also going to have to accept that it's pretty much going to be, even if it's at the most middling of quality, he will probably get a nomination. That's how it feels like to me. Which
he hasn't really. No, I think. Yeah, I think that's more true of somebody like Emma Stone right now. Quite frankly,
yeah,
because she's getting in everywhere, even when she doesn't do anything really. So,
Emma's took
yeah.
over from Meryl in that
Mm.
prime peak of, oh yeah, it's just you can show up in something for 5 minutes, we'll give you an award, don't worry. But actually, that moves on perfectly. And Heather, you can talk about what was your takeaways for Best Actress, which of course was Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue, Renate for Sentimental Value, and Emma Stone for Begonia.
Yeah. Thank you, Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, for your connections. um, yeah, we were doing so well, and I have not seen Songs on Blue. So I don't know, she might be incredible in it. But first of all, let's just assume she's taken Chase Infinity's spot. Okay. You can argue that maybe Chase Infinity, her role is more a supporting role, and maybe there was some vote splitting, because I did see there was a ballot where somebody filled in Ariana Grande as lead actress. Wish they'd done more of that last year with basically everybody. So and if you remember a few years back, Lakeith Stanfield got in to supporting, and they both weren't supporting him and Kaluuya, and nobody expected that. They were like, well, if he gets in anywhere, it would be lead. So that happened, and that was a massive surprise. So I do wonder if there was a little, because they can do that. So I'm wondering, did that play a role, or is it just the lack of name recognition? But it's the optics again, isn't it? It's like you're up and coming star, person of color, who loses out to, I mean, yeah, she's somebody that is very well connected in the industry. She's ticking off a lot of boxes. It's a biopic, not of a massively famous person. It's a Neil Diamond cover band, but it's still a real story. It's very niche. And she has tragedies. I mean, I've read a little bit about what happens. There's tragedies. She's crying. She's singing. She's doing a lot. It is something that is going to get in. You're going back 15, 20 years. This is absolutely shoehorned into Best Actress, and she's getting in. But I thought we might have changed. I know we had Annette Bening 2 years ago, but that was actually quite enjoyed Naiad. But it's just they had a chance to, really show, hey, we have this up and coming actress. She's carrying the second half of the film. She's going toe to toe with the biggest stars, possibly the biggest star that we have at the moment, and she's the heart of that film. We talked about in supporting actress and supporting actor, where those were the kind of performances they were recognizing, and then they put in Kate Hudson, and I just, as I say, I haven't seen the film. I cannot comment. I know she's doing a lot. People say it's her best role, that's possibly ever since Almost Famous. I don't know. It just feels so old Academy, and it's just, as I say, I haven't seen it. So, but I have seen one battle after another, and it is just really weird that it's getting in absolutely everywhere. And that's the one place it missed, because that would also have had it equaling the old record for nominations. And it's just a shame. But and I'm not even saying it's just a shame it's Chase that missed. I mean, if you put in Hudson, I mean, does Emma Stone need another nomination? I mean, does anybody need a nomination? I just think it's Emma Stone we're ticking off because it's Emma Stone. Kate Hudson we're ticking off because we like her. There's the comeback narrative. She hasn't really had this kind of chance to shine for a long time. She's, everybody knows her. People see her name like, oh, Kate, oh yeah, she's my friend. I'm gonna vote for her. she got into SAG, so I guess we all saw it coming, and it just feels very traditional, and it's just a shame. I think even if she had got in and Emma Stone had missed, I wouldn't be so. I mean, upset
Annoyed.
is the whole word. I don't care
Yeah.
because I mean, at the end of the day, who cares? I'm upset. I'm not going to go and But annoyed. It's just a shame. I think, and as I say, if she'd got in instead of Emma Stone, that would not have annoyed me so much. It's just a real shame for Chase, who, as you said, she was out there, she was campaigning, and yeah, she's unfortunately missed out. And I do wonder if it's the category thing or just the name recognition. But I mean, she's in one battle after another, so it's not as if she's in a random weird film. Was concerned about Rose Byrne, speaking of that, because we know what they did to
Yes.
Marianne Jean-Baptiste last year. So I was very happy when Rose Byrne got called. I was like, whoof. But yeah, because that was another one that could have missed. Renata could have missed. They've snubbed her before, but I think they owed her one, and Sentimental Value was clearly loved.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Not at the SAGs,
I-
but here, yes.
Yeah.
For wrong language.
Oh,
I think
forbid.
when they read it out, and obviously I've also heard that it's one of Kate Hudson's best roles, and all this kind of things. Oh, she's great. In the nicest possible, respectful way. I don't care because Chase Infinity, I can guarantee, was a vastly superior performance. Eva Victor in Sorry Baby was a vastly better performance. Jennifer Lawrence in Die My Love was a vastly better performance. Like I'm sick. I've written a blog
Here's the
before.
rant. We weren't going to rant, but here we go.
The way to get me to rant is goddamn biopics. Can we please stop with it? Oh, it's a biopic. There's a monologue and the cry. Oh, it's the best thing I've ever seen this year. It's like, can we stop? The one progressive thing that the Academy did was this is only the fourth time in 26 goddamn years that they haven't nominated a biopic for Best Picture. So we've made some symbol of progress. And that's only if you're counting Mighty Supreme as not a biopic, which it technically is, but technically isn't because it's inspired. But, But yeah, Amanda, what were your takeaways for Best Actress?
I think we mentioned most of them. I know that we had mentioned just previously that I saw Ann Lee. So if we're going to talk about like women singing, dancing, like crying, giving it their all, giving birth, like where is Amanda Seyfried? Because I would have been sad for Chase if Amanda would have taken that spot, but that would have been such a better choice. Am I going to watch Kate Hudson? I guess. I'm going to be upset about it.
That's the thing though. If Chase missed out, God bless her, it's heartbreaking because she's so good. But I can live with it because there's genuinely nearly 5 women that I can think of that could have got in where I'm like, okay, I'm happy they got in. Instead, they went for that. And it's like, you chose the one that's not on any of our radars. It's like, I don't know how they managed to do it in the category every single time, but they do. Another thing that we didn't actually mention in terms of not snubs, I guess, but it was certainly talked about when it come out as a Oscar potential nominee, and that was Jay Kelly, which got no votes. I didn't even think about that until I saw somebody tweet it. I wasn't, oh yeah, because I know people like, Sandler might get in and Clooney might get in, and that died a death, apparently. All that talk did.
Yeah, if they'd been running in lead actress, they might have got in. Because clearly that was the category that they were going for their friends and industry. That
was the weak category, apparently. The best directing category, of course, we already touched a bit on Josh Safdie, but the nominees for that were Chloe Zhao, Josh Safdie, Paul Thomas Anderson, Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value, and Ryan Coogler for Sinners. And Chloe Zhao is only the second woman to be nominated for Best Director more than once, which again, we're at the 98th Academy Awards, and there's only 2 people that have ever been nominated
2 women.
More than once. Yeah, 2 women more than once for Best Director, which again, we could go into a whole rant over the Academy and that, but Heather, what was your takeaway for best directing?
Yeah, I'm not massively surprised by this. There were 4 that I felt were fairly secure. I know I've been saying I'm concerned about Coogler because you just never know what the directors are going to do. And they've snubbed, things that they consider too blockbustery, or too commercial, or not artsy enough and stuff like that, or just too weird or whatever. They've done that before, Nolan, Villeneuve, Fincher, yeah,
Even
all my
PTA.
favorites. Yeah, exactly. Although he snuck in for Phantom Thread, which was unexpected back in the day. But yeah, so yeah. So I was like, ugh, they could still do something stupid with Coogler. And people say, no, he's fine, he'll be fine, he's got in everywhere. I said, yes, he's got in everywhere, as others have before him. Anyway, but I never took him out of my predictions because, yeah, that would probably have been silly. So I had the 4. I had Zhao, although I thought she was also a little bit wavering, and Hamnet did miss a few places today.
Paul Mescal.
Yeah.
Which I felt a lot of people thought that was a lock as well.
He was my vulnerable one of the 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny actually because Variety magazine did like a whole bunch of predictions. They predicted that Sinners would get 16 nominations and break the record, and that One Battle would get 13. Whether they had inside information that nobody else did, it seems like it, because that was predicting a near perfect. Well, as we said before we started recording, Sinners wasn't. It didn't even have like a pick for best actress, but that counts against it. So instead of going 16 for 16, it went 16 for 17.
Yeah.
But
and they didn't have a lead actress, so it could never have gone for 17.
Exactly. Yeah.
They could have pretended it was a documentary. Yeah. So So wait a minute. So they had those 4. Trier, I said, yeah, he's getting in because, well, first of all, he wasn't an international. It was just an accident, was falling like a lead balloon over the last few weeks. And then Trier, they swept at European Film Awards. So I'm like, right, no, Trier is in now. So I had those 4. And then like, okay, what's left over from the DGAs? So obviously we've got 1 spot left, and there was the 2 extra DGAs were Safdie and Del Toro. And there was still the Panahi of it all. Like, will they still put in another? Or, I was actually predicting Mendonça from Secret Agent, which, if you look at Secret Agent and how well it did, was not too bad a prediction. I thought that might sneak in if they're going with 2 internationals. I just didn't. I'd taken Panahi out, and yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think whether I would have had Del Toro above. As I say, my 5th was Mendonça from Secret Agent. Safdie, yeah. I guess it's a cool pick. I haven't seen Marty Supreme. I think it's fine. I mean, Del Toro, he's very beloved, so that was one reason.
That's why I thought he was a shoehorn in, because they love some Guillermo del Toro.
They love him.
They love him. Yeah.
I don't know. I just did a weird thing over the last week where I was thinking, oh my God, what happens if it's Lanthimos? Because if you look at the BAFTA long list, and they have to do in the long list, they have to do 50-50. So they have to 5 women, 5 men directors, and then of course it can end up being
5 men.
5 men and 1 woman when it comes to the final 6, which is probably going to happen. But they do have to have that gender parity for the long list, and they had Lanthimos, and they didn't have Panahi, and they didn't have Del Toro. So that was the first sign of Del Toro. They did have Safdie, so that actually should have been the
giveaway.
Yeah, that it wasn't going to be Del Toro, and it was Safdie, because to me the others were kind of fairly safe, especially after last weekend with Trier it's like, okay, it's him. But yeah. So yeah, it is fine. It's fine. I'm pleased Kugler's got in because that was my main concern, that he just might inexplicably miss. So, and I think PTA was walking. I know, Morgan, you think it's not going to happen. I think you've got a bigger chance with Sinners in picture. I think PTA. This is a coronation. This is
Yeah.
I just can't see. I just can't see him losing.
Whenever I feel like that is the case, the Academy goes to always prove me wrong. So, I mean,
Yeah, I think we're overthinking it.
we are, but yeah.
Picture,
Amanda,
we can have the conversation.
Yes.
But I think director, I think it's his time.
Amanda, what was your takeaway, if you had any, or was you like me and Heather and was just like, okay, yeah?
Yeah, I feel like I don't think about director as much as I probably should. So I was thinking more about Del Toro. I think he was more locked in my head than he ended up being. Because I was going back and forth between Sentimental Value not getting a lot of love until last week, and then it was just an accident, like completely falling. So I was like, one of those two is going to miss. But Del Toro was a little bit more of a shock for me. But I'm clearly not thinking much about director anyway.
I guess just because Frankenstein got so many nominations, like from everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's a classic Dune situation from a couple of years ago, where it gets like 10 nominations or whatever it was, and then no Villeneuve, and everybody's like, ugh.
Yeah.
But I don't feel that much outrage as we all felt when Villeneuve missed for Dune, because I think Frankenstein people have been very mixed on it. In fact, a lot of the comments that I've seen is like, how the hell did Frankenstein get in there? What are we doing? And less about, oh my God, it got in there, and he didn't get director. I haven't really seen much of that. So that's kind of good. We're avoiding that discourse. Thank goodness.
I do feel like there's not many people who could have made Frankenstein, especially to the level, because it's just Del Toro. It's the same thing with Dune.
Project.
It's the same thing with Dune. It's like no one else could have made that than Denis, in my opinion, at least. So, but yeah,
David Lynch tried.
That is true. Keyword being tried there. I mean, the big thing then was, of course, the biggest award on available. It is Best Picture, and the nominees for that were Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Mighty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams. And Amanda, what were your takeaways from that, other than what the hell is F1 doing there?
Oh my God. Yeah, we've already beat F1 to death. I mean, hopefully I don't have to think about it again, but now I have to watch it.
I think that was everybody's reaction was,
yeah.
Did they just say F1 in Best Picture?
People were predicting it, though. People were predicting
it. It was like in my radar, but...
When I was on the Cinemillennials podcast, I did say it. I believe it's for Best Picture and for something else. I was like, "Don't be surprised if F1 would." And they went, "Really?" I went, "No, not because it's good, because it's the Academy." And they're like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. I think that's worth it." And it's like, okay,
yeah. When I was looking, yeah, oh God, I have like a whole spreadsheet going, and so I was thinking like, most of the time your Golden Globes for drama are getting in. So I was like, it was just an accident, has it there. And then Weapons, I think, has a PGA nomination. So it was like going between the two of those. I thought it's got to be one of these two. And then when I was just really hoping for Weapons.
With either of those.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, well, it was just an accident. Like, we're just throwing this out apparently. So I'm like, well, maybe Weapons has a chance. F1 was like way out there.
Didn't
it
F1
had
get PGA?
It did, but that's all it's gotten so far, and it has won a couple things, like a couple bigger things, but not to deserve this.
I mean, it's won the editing and shit, so yeah.
Yeah, mostly for its editing.
Yeah. I mean, editing, they do say there is the matchup with the Best Picture. It's very rare to get into editing and then not get into Best Picture. So yeah, I'm not surprised. It's just
I think the only one I've seen all of them now except for F1, and the only one that like I get why it's there, but is Train Dreams.
Same.
I liked it. It was fine, but like
Train Dreams.
Yeah, I'm like I get it's got to be here. It's got all the whatever.
Yeah.
Weapons could have taken that spot too. That would have been fine.
Yeah. Train Dreams was just, it was like, I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Because I'd kind of made my
see,
peace with it like about a couple of weeks ago. I was
as a
like, yeah.
fan of the film, I was like, it's probably not getting in because they're probably only going to do one Netflix film, and if it's going to be a Netflix film, it's going to be Frankenstein.
Yeah. Maybe they're making up for snubbing Sing Sing last year from the same duo.
Yeah,
So
True.
yeah.
Would have preferred
except
that one.
Sing Sing is here. And anyway, no, I'm sorry. I know it has its fans. It was not for me. We're not yucking anybody's yum, as they say. But
Apart from F1,
I just didn't. It was not enough talking, not enough rooms. So
Yeah, his rooms were gone.
Yeah.
Actually,
he had no rooms.
Yes.
That was
there
the whole
were no
point.
rooms. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And he was
If you-
I had nobody to talk to either.
If only you were a fan of Wandering Outside, Heather, you would have loved it.
I like wandering outside. I enjoy going for my walks. I enjoy being outside. I've just watched No Other Choice, which also did a lovely montage with cutting down trees. Yes, of the tree cutting down films this year, I preferred No Other Choice. Look at it that way. Yes, but yeah, I mean, whatever. Brad Pitt has another Oscar nomination. Yay, Brad.
I think my absolute favourite thing is going into it. Obviously, we had Weapons, which was it was just a really great year for horror films. And going into it, it was like the Academy never award horror films ever, and if anything's going to get any love that's horror related, it's probably going to be A Couple Sinners and then
Sinners.
Amy Madigan. That was it. And then I just find it so funny that out of all the films that broke the all-time nomination records was technically a horror film.
Technically a horror, yeah.
And not only that, technically a horror that is about a black story and made by black people and starring black people predominantly as well, which is like,
Fabulous.
it was literally everything that the Oscars does not go for normally. So what they've done, if they've done an overhaul to the voting body, please, by all means, keep them all on board, because more like this, we will be very happy as film fans. But yeah, Heather, did you have any main takeaways as well from Best Picture?
No, as I say, I'm just going to find my list that I made 2 months ago or so.
Oh,
And I have, this is 2 months ago, I have One Battle After Another, Hamnet, Sentimental Value, Sinners, Marty Supreme, It Was Just an Accident, Frankenstein, Train Dreams, and then I did have on my initial 10, J. Kelly, and Avatar. But I was allowed to edit the list and put in a couple of not recent edit. I wasn't allowed to recently edit, but I was allowed to put in a couple of alternatives at that time. But I wasn't allowed to completely change the list at any point with new. This was, and I had as my in brackets, Secret Agent, Begonia, and Wicked. So I'd just like to say that I've covered every single one of them, apart from Vroom Vroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not too bad. Not too bad.
When I was on the Cinemillennials podcast, Kyle went 9 for 10 for Best Picture nomination picks, and I believe I went the exact same 10. And of course, the only one
to choose the 10th. I think I was like, these 9.
Yeah, and of course, the only one that didn't get in was the one that nobody thought would get in, but Cars Go Vroom, I guess.
It was definitely there. It was. I think most people are kind of like these.
I saw people say it was there, but I was like, "What the hell are you talking about? Go watch some more movies."
So what do we think was next then?
It was just an accident.
Really? Yeah, okay. It's got screenplay, it's got international. I think it was that one, or I think it was Blue Moon, because Blue Moon's got screenplay and it got actor.
Yeah, so I think, and again, either of those two would have been, oh, well done. You've done pretty much, you've hit 9 out of 10. It was
just an accident, should have got in. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I'm just pleased he got into screenplay.
Anybody who's watched that film and watched that last scene, and you tell me that's not one of the best films, one of the best 10 films of the year, you are crazy.
I just don't know. I don't know what happened. It just seems that all the momentum from it, like after the Palm, then it was like doing really well up to the Gothams. He won like almost everything there. I've gone on record, I don't know where, but saying I think he is the only potential upset to PTA, I said. And that was about, but this was only about a month ago. I said this.
Like what happened?
Now look what's happened.
I was going to say, what has happened? I don't know what has happened.
I mean, the secret agent has gone and sucked all the life
I
out
get
of it.
that,
Just an
but
accident,
it's not like
which
there's
is
this.
also very good.
It's not like there's been this army of media of, oh, have you seen F1? It's one of the best films of the year. Like, nobody's been saying that over the last month to explain and warrant. I watched it because I was like, I mean, I like Top Gun Maverick. If it's going to be that on the floor, I was like, okay, it could be fun. But
yeah, I feel the same way about when Top Gun got in. Yeah.
But it saved cinema.
Oh, yes.
It saved cinema.
Somehow.
As Tom Cruise got his honorary Oscar for saving cinema and jumping off stuff.
Let's be honest, that was a year that was still coming off the back of COVID. So
yes, true.
I think the strength and depth was not necessarily there. And also, I mean, we do have to point out that, there's been a lot of films that got a lot of nominations. So there isn't a huge number of films that have been nominated, compared to some years. I mean, there's just like massive numbers for the 2 over 10, obviously, Sinners and Thingy, One Battle, and then Sentimental.
I've got it here. So you've got Sinners at 16, One Battle at 13, Frankenstein, Mighty Supreme, Sentimental at 9, Hamnet at 8, Begonia, F1, Secret Agent, and Train Dreams at 4, and then Avatar, Fire and Ash, Blue Moon, K-Pop Demon Hunters, It Was Just an Accident, and Sirat at 2.
Elephant in the room, actually. You just said it. What was Avatar doing in costumes, please?
Oh, yeah, we did not get to this.
I didn't actually even click with that because I was probably just caught up in the, Elle Fanning's got in, Delroy Lindo's there.
We're still thinking about Elle Fanning.
Costumes, who cares?
Yeah, yeah.
But like,
yeah.
What? But I haven't seen any Avatar.
I was just saying, Heather and I were in the same boat.
Costume design was Avatar, Fire and Ash, which is
didn't you guys already get that nomination?
Yeah. Frankenstein, which is costumes, Hamnet, Mighty Supreme, and Sinners. Yeah.
No, all fine.
You've got to understand that the $1 billion man has to have his nominations.
But he's got VFX, which he's going to win.
Yeah. What are they going to show during the ceremony when they put the costumes up? What do we think they're going to have?
They're going to have a green screen.
The belts.
Just a big green sheet.
Yeah, it's going to be a guy in a green suit with a belt on, and it's like, that's the best design belt ever. Yeah.
They'll be giving best costume to animated feature soon. Then there we go.
Yes.
Maybe this is the way in to get animated films into more.
If I'm guessing, it's what the humans are wearing, but from what I've seen clips in, they are wearing normal standard army blockbuster stuff. They're not wearing anything where I'm like, whoa, that's cool.
I mean,
as I said, the $1 billion man's got to have his multiple nominations. You can't give him one. You've got to give him multiple.
At least Heather and I don't have to watch all three now.
That's a good thing. I didn't get into pictures, so I don't have to watch it. Exactly.
I watched the first one, first one only, and that was enough. I've seen it 2 times in my lifetime. Once when it come on Sky TV when it originally released on Christmas, and I was like, whoa, because I was a child. Then I watched it in 3D in the cinema with my friend. We both come out of that going, number 1, my eyes are hurting. Number 2, my head is hurting. And number 3, that film is not as good as I remember visually.
Yeah, I feel like if I saw that in IMAX, again, I would throw up. mini
rant before we leave, everybody. Mini rant about James Cameron. James Cameron's my most infuriating director ever, because that man was on a unbelievable filmmaking run of great films, and then he decided to basically retire for 12 years, essentially, to make a film about blue people. You're like, okay, James, you've got that out your system. What's next on the horizon? I'm going to do another film about blue people, and then I'm going to do another, then another, then another. It's
I'm going to film them all before we even know if they're going to be a success.
I'm going to ruin. I'm going to just ruin the rest years of my great filmmaking potential to do blue people versus humans.
And occasionally go for a little trip down to the Titanic.
Yes.
Yeah, he really
his
likes to do
favourite
that.
pastime. His favourite pastime, yeah. No one, I
Hey.
believe nobody's actually seen the Titanic more than James Cameron.
Yeah, I think that's a
I
fact.
feel I did like what he said the other week, where he's like, right, if I'm not going to survive basically to make these films, because he's getting on, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen in them, and I'm going to do a big,
I saw
like,
that,
big
and my
event,
reaction was,
and I'm going to tell
James,
you what
God
happens in
bless
4
you,
and 5.
but I don't care. I just, I think a genuine question would be, if this wasn't from James Cameron and certified to make $1 billion at box office, blah, 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 would this even get a nomination? I don't think it would. I think people would
the
be like,
VFX is
who?
good. I guess.
Yeah, but from what I've seen and like clips I've seen, it's not much of an improvement than the last one and then the one before that. It's fine. I think he's got it to the limit of what is possible and what is necessary, where they're not going to be like, James, we'll give you another $100 million to improve it by a pixel. But yeah,
Well,
the overall,
I have it in my draft team that I have drafted to win VFX. So it was my wild card pick.
it probably will. It
So
probably
I'm
will.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
Avatar.
Before we sign off, what I will do is ask you both to give me a one-word answer of your takeaway from the nominations and just your kind of feelings as a whole.
Could we, just before we do that, sorry, but we haven't touched on casting, and I thought that was very interesting because
Yes.
our new
Yes.
category,
The
just
new
because
category.
a little bit of the chat has been sentimental value got 4 acting nominations but didn't get into casting. So people are like, ooh. But I
Yeah,
thought it was very
which makes no
interesting.
sense.
No, well, the arguments against actually do make sense, because yes, they had the casting director found Inga, but the other 3, Stellan, Renate, Elle, were handpicked by Joachim. No, that's the German pronunciation. Wait a minute. Joachim. I get confused. It's not German. It's confusing when things are spelt the same in 2 different languages and they're pronounced differently.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Mr. Trier. He personally approached the other 3 to be in the film. So the casting director was pretty much just Inga. So
Let's
if
be
you
real.
say that, that's
In a
possibly
couple
why.
years'
And
time,
yeah.
they're not going to care, and they'll just give it to the ones who have got the best performances, probably.
Well, but will they though? Because that's the ensemble that they have at SAG, and I think they will want to keep
Yeah.
it different. So, but I would just like to say I am very pleased to see the secret agent in there, because they that's some kind of recognition for my queen, Tanya Maria. So, because yeah, she'd never done anything before, but I just thought that was quite interesting where the choices went for that, and then Hamnet I think got in for finding the kids and
Hamnet, Mighty
stuff like that.
Supreme, One Battle After Another,
Yeah.
Secret Agent, and Sinners.
So it's been very much ones that have kind of found people that fitted the role that weren't well known before, were children or whatever. So looking at it that way, it clearly has been for these discoveries, these wider, bigger ensembles, whereas Sentimental Value, as I say, was really just the one discovery, the 3 bigger names which were handpicked, and a small cast anyway. So
I also think
just interesting to
people should
think about.
the person who also found the wonder of Chase Infinity should also be getting praise as well, because
Yeah, but they didn't
yeah,
they didn't like her, so
they didn't
we said,
like her enough though.
different. No. To be
Yeah.
fair, it's a different body voting
Yes. Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, do need to stress that.
I think the one word I would describe for the nominations is hopeful, which I think's almost the perfect description, because it's largely, of course, you can't have perfection, because that's just not possible. But I feel of what us as film fans largely feel, they basically hit the nail on the head like 8 times out of 10, which for the Academy normally is significantly better than what they have done before. Even like some of the choices, as we've mentioned throughout this, have been inspired, which again you don't normally get, unfortunately. So, yeah, I am actually quite hopeful for once of, again, whatever changes they've made post. Oh, I didn't know Ray Fiennes I thought he already had an Oscar, so I'm not going to vote for him. Post all that BS. Whatever changes they've made, where they're like, no, you have to watch the goddamn films that you're voting for. Please, hopefully this is a window into the future of, oh yeah, we're going to pretty much get it 8 categories out of 10 right, and then you can moan at us about the other 2, which we will. Heather, what about you? Do you have a word that springs to mind?
I kind of agree with you. I think I'd say like promising or something like that. Like, they could still muck it up, and I think 16 nominations and now watch Sinners win just 1 or 2, which could absolutely happen. No,
Yeah.
no, seriously, it could
Please don't.
absolutely happen.
I know. I
Um,
know it can.
yeah. I it's not just one word, but I think it has been interesting to look at some of the places with, things that got a lot of nominations did miss, whether it's Marty Supreme or Hamnet, which, as I say, it'll be very interesting to see further down the road with retailers that talk into how we think the preferential ballot might go and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll stick with promising, because it was good. Like you said, it's very similar to your hopeful. There's always going to be something in there where we just get annoyed, and normally it's more than just 1 or 2. So
Yeah.
And there were some really, as you said, inspired choices as well. So yeah, we'll say that, and then let's watch BAFTA completely muck it up next Tuesday.
Yeah, completely ruin it. Completely ruin the mood and any hope we've got
Sinners,
of voting
what's that?
bodies. Yeah. Yeah. Sinners, what's that? What have you seen F1? And as people have also heard before, we hear from Amanda. Amanda's cat is still absolutely fuming about the Sorry Baby
Yes.
I'm
snubs.
so sorry
And
about them.
Oh no!
If you need to mute my entire track for this entire list,
No.
that's great, because they are so
your
annoying.
Cats, the cats really started getting annoyed when
very
we started
restless.
talking. It was when Kate Hudson come up, they were
Yeah,
furious.
there you go.
They were
We're
watching the
upset for Eva
nominations.
Victor.
Yeah, they're like, "Where's the cat? I heard there was a cat movie. Where is she?"
Yes, yeah.
Anyway,
But Amanda, what about you? What would your word be?
mine is kind of similar. I would say just content. I think that looking ahead to what is predicted to be like in the tops of all these categories, there is nothing I'm upset about. Whereas in the past, like I think the last years of actress, I've been like really upset about. I'm on like the flip of who's going to win, and then they lose, and then I get upset. So I think I've enjoyed most of the things that I've seen. I think everything that's going to win is going to be great. We talked about this at the very Heather, you mentioned at the very beginning that I've seen a lot more of these short films. So, and I forgot to go back to it. I'm going to point out one of my favorites that I saw at the St. Louis Film Festival this year, which is Forever Green, nominated an animated short. Beautiful. Love it. So like, I've just had a great time with everything. So I think it'll be a great time.
And what are your predictions then for the shorts then, Amanda, just based on what you've seen?
I don't know if I really have one yet. The hard part with predicting shorts is that what you think is the best will absolutely never win. It will always be the one that I don't like. So I think the ones that I like are not going to win, but I also need to watch more of them.
The ones you don't like to win, and then
exactly.
the ones
you don't like.
Yes.
Or the ones with the quirky names.
Yes.
So the saliva one, the 2 people exchanging
yes,
saliva.
I think that one's a big one right now, which it was good. It's
they did a good job with that, because as soon as I saw the title, I was like, I feel like I need to check that out. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah. But before we sign off, Amanda and Heather, why don't you tell us about future projects you have coming up?
What have we got coming up, Amanda? We've got to do. We're going to do our We've got a lot of Valentine's Day stuff coming up, don't we? We're doing coming up for Valentine's Day a collaboration with Horror Hour with the Hannahs. They going into, what are they going into? It's like horror romance is
Yes.
their kind of main topic. So I think we're gonna do that. Two of
Yeah.
us. So we're
I
not.
got to get
not
some
into
horror
voids.
romance. I got to watch some.
Yeah, it's Dracula. This is what I'm.
Okay.
This is my focus.
Bram Stoker's
And-
Dracula.
And we're well, we've got some homework to do as well, don't we, for our next?
Yeah, we're
top
so
10s,
behind on
top fives.
yeah.
Yeah, we're doing.
So what makes it
what is
fun?
Hot couples.
Yes,
isn't it?
hottest chemistry, like best chemistry, and then worst hot couples, bad chemistry for the release of Wuthering Heights.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
I love
that's
that.
right. So we've got top 5, like really like hot, steamy. Everything's great. They look great. They're amazing. So we're doing each thing, and then we've got to pick up, I think, just one really bad example of really
Emptiness.
disappointing. So like,
Yeah.
hot people, and it just doesn't work. So yeah, that'll be fun. But yeah, we've got to kind of start thinking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had this week come out. I was on Gmode again. Talking about Little Miss Sunshine. So that was fun. Talking about a comedy instead of like really dark, bleak things for a change. So yeah.
But yeah, as for me, I was recently on the Cinemillennials podcast, which you can go check out on and over on their Spotify. And the next time you'll be seeing me will actually, I believe, also be with Heather, where we will be covering and talking about the BAFTAs,
Yes.
which will hopefully be as contempt as this has been, but I suspect there will be a lot more Morgan rants over on that when we come to it, because boy do we know how not to vote films, and I don't think it'll ever change, which yeah, that is fun. But anyway, I hope everyone has enjoyed listening to us talk about the 2026 Oscar nominations. Let us know in the comments any surprises or picks that you have, and we will catch you all in the next one.